Factorization of cubic functions using the method of long division. Factorization of cubic functions using long division. Now, this is going to be vital when we go to the calculus section of cubic functions, where learners are requested to draw the graphs of cubic functions. So to draw the graph of a cubic function, you may need to calculate the coordinates of the x-intercepts, and that will result in creating an equation that you must solve, and that equation is a cubic equation. Therefore, we need to know how to factorize a cubic function. Now, I have information provided here which says f of x, f of negative 1 is equal to 0. If f of negative 1 is equal to 0, what it means is that the value of x is equal to negative 1. And this negative 1 put in brackets as a factor of f of x will give us x plus 1. It means the first factor of this expression is x plus 1. Simply put, we're transposing the negative 1 to the left, where it will become a positive 1. So our factorization starts by using x plus 1. And this x plus 1 is coming from the value of x that is given in the brackets here. So you set out your division in this way. Then we can now do the division. So to start with, we divide this x dividing into x cubed. We get an answer. The answer that we get, we write it up here. So it's x cubed divided by x, and you write the answer. The answer is x squared. Then the answer that we get, it multiplies those two numbers. So you're going to say x squared times x and x squared times 1. The answer that we get, we write it at the bottom of the first two numbers of our expression. So x squared times x, we get x cubed. X squared times 1, we get x squared. So that's our expression. X squared times x, we got this x cubed. X squared times 1, we get this x squared. Then we subtract after doing that, we subtract the first two expressions minus the two expressions that we got from multiplying. X squared minus x squared is going to give me 0. Then 2x squared minus x squared, it will give me 1x squared. Then once you get an answer to subtracting these two, this one here, you bring it down, minus 5x. Then you start the division all over again. Now x dividing into x squared, the answer that you get, you write it up there. So x dividing into x squared is equal to a positive x. Then the answer that you get multiplies those two numbers, and the answer you write it under these two terms. So we're going to have x times x, that's x squared. X times 1, that's equal to x. So I get x squared plus x. Then I subtract again. Now, when I subtract here, x squared minus x is going to give me 0. Then I must be careful with negative numbers. This is minus 5x minus x. So this will not be 0. Minus 5 minus 1 gives me minus 6. So that will be minus 6x. Then this negative 6 here comes down here. to give me 2 terms. Then I start the division all over again. X dividing into negative x, that will give me an answer. The answer that I get, I write it up there. So that will be a negative of 6. Then that negative 6 multiplies. So negative 6 multiplies x and multiplies 1, writing the answer under the bottom 2 terms that I have. So minus 6 times x, I get minus 6x. Minus 6 times 1, I get minus 6. Then when I'm done, I subtract them. So let's take notice of my subtraction here. There is a negative sign because I'm subtracting, and the number that I'm subtracting is already negative. So it's going to be minus 6x minus negative 6. These two negatives, they make it positive, and that will give me 0. Minus 6 minus negative 6, I will also get another 0. Then it means my factorization, my long division is complete. So after completing this division, I put the two answers that I have in brackets. The first expression is x plus 1. That is the factor that I have used. The answer that I got is x squared plus x minus 6, the one on top there. That is the one I put in the next bracket. Then to complete my factorization, this is a quadratic expression. We can simplify the quadratic expression and express it in 2 brackets. And that completes the factorization of the expression f of x is equal to x cubed plus 2x squared minus 5x minus 6. Here, we have applied the method of long division to factorize it. Alright, let's have another example just to repeat the same process and emphasize it. We need to have an understanding that this one here means x is equal to negative 3. And if x is equal to negative 3, we can say that x plus 3 is a factor of this expression. X plus 3 is a factor. So keep that in mind. It means after factorization, this is one of the brackets that we must have. So I'm going to set out my division. The first factor I have is x plus 3. So I put x plus 3 on one side, and then I write out the expression I want to factorize. That's x cubed minus x squared minus 8x plus 12. So this x here divides into x cubed. The answer that I get, I write it on top here. So it's x into x cubed. The answer is x squared written on top. Then this answer that I have written on top, it multiplies these two numbers, x squared times x and x squared times 3. The answer, I write it at the bottom here. So x squared times x, I get x cubed. X squared times 3, I get a positive 3x squared. Right, then I subtract these numbers. Put brackets and subtract. X cubed minus x cubed will give me 0. I'm subtracting, remember. So this is minus x squared minus 3x squared. This will give me negative 4x squared. After subtracting, the next term, which is minus 8, you bring that term down here to get minus 8x. Then you start the division again. So this x will divide into that term. X into negative 4x squared, that will give me minus 4x. The answer that I wrote on top, it multiplies those two numbers one by one, writing the answer at the bottom here. Minus 4x multiplied by x it will give me minus 4x squared. Minus 4x multiplied by 3, it gives me minus 12x. Then I subtract these terms to get my answer. Be careful with negative numbers. Very careful. I'm subtracting. So minus 4x squared minus minus. These two negatives here, they are going to make it positive. So this is minus 4x squared plus 4x squared. That gives me 0. Then minus 8x minus minus 12. That will be minus 8 plus 12. That will give me plus 4x. Then I bring the next term, which is 12. I bring the next term down here. I'm going to now have plus 12. Then you start the division again. X divides into 4x. The answer that you get, you write it on top there, 4. Then this answer multiplies these two numbers. 4 times x, it will give me 4x. Then 4 times 3, it will give me 12. Then when I'm done multiplication, I subtract again. 4x minus 4x is 0, and 12 minus 12 is 0. So then I can say, therefore, f of x, which is equal to x cubed minus x squared minus 8x plus 12, is basically equal to the first factor that we have used there, which is x plus 3, and then factor of the answer that we got on top there, which is x squared minus 4x plus 4. Now then, to complete my answer, I must factorize this quadratic part of my expression. So this one can be factorized into x minus 2, factor of another x minus 2. Then this is my f of x in factorized form. I have factorized it using the long division. So it is a process. Most learners don't like this method really, but I just decided to put it up here. Maybe someone may use it as an option. Then this is how you do it. This is factorization of trinomials in grade 12, the section of cubic functions. All right, thank you very much. Enjoy.
Long division is not a very favorable method of factorizing cubic functions. A lot of learners don't like it, so they just don't use it. We just explained it here in case you might be interested to use it. In using it in examinations, you are not compelled to apply any particular method. You can apply any method that you understand better. But yeah, this is long division factorization of cubic function. Thank you very much for subscribing, and thank you for encouraging your friends and brothers and sisters to do the same thing. Till we meet again, thank you.